Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be teaching you the first step in the CFOP method, which is making a cross on either of these colors. So if you've learned the beginner's method, you know that you make the white cross by first making the daisy and then lining up all of the white edges with their centers. But if you can make the cross without making the daisy, that saves a few steps and seconds that you could use to focus on making the next layers. So one of the first cases is just if the edge is already in, but since it is not aligned with green, you need to move it to the left because it is a red, and red, if you're on white, red is always to the left of green, and orange is always to the right of green, and then orange is always to the right of green, and then it's to the left of blue. But if you flip the cube over and then you were solving the yellow cross, then it would be red is to the left of blue and orange is to the right of blue. But I'll be doing white cross since it's easier to understand. And when learning cross, if you want to easily develop your skills with other colors, you can practice cross when you learn it with all the colors, so then it's easier to become color neutral with all of the different sides. And so since this edge is already solved, this one right here is just in this second layer, and it is oriented correctly, which means it's flipped correctly and matching with the center, so you can just bring it down. And so if you can take advantage of this if it just occurs, but since this piece is right here, and when I bring this down, now it's aligned, and then if I do an F move, or if I did it from this angle and I did an F move here, and then this is aligned, then I would do R or F, however, depending on how I did it. And this is also solved, so then I can just solve that, and that makes a cross. One of the biggest parts in learning CFOP and the cross part, you always should, it depends on if you're really trying to get better, then you always want to have the center you're doing it on at the bottom. So right here, I have red here, and so since it's oriented, like this, and it's matching center right here, white, red, red, so I can do an F prime, and that lines it up. But if I did a D move, then it would be oriented wrong because the white is facing red instead of white is facing white. So I would have to do an F prime, and I would move it down. And so I saw that this orange was aligned, so I can just bring it down like that. And now this blue piece is flipped incorrectly towards, so if I did an F move, it would be oriented wrong. And so since this piece is oriented wrong, blue is right here. So if you're in this position, you can either do this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves, or you can do this, a D move, and then an R prime, and then a D prime, and that's just 3 moves. And so now green is in the back, so I can move, so I can rotate, or I can try to do a R, B, and then bring this one back down, or I can rotate and do a sledgehammer, which goes like this. Well, this would be a left, this would be a right sledgehammer, so right would be R prime, F, R, and then it would, and that's the right-handed sledgehammer, but then if I did it from this side, it would be L, F, L prime. And so then, but since if you have it from this angle, then you would do an F, R prime, F prime. And then if you had it from the other side, you would do an F prime, L, and then an F. And so that would be another way to solve cross. Another big part of learning cross is knowing how the centers are. So how I mentioned how each one is from left or right to each other. And so when making cross, you can move the pieces, however, so I can, you also need to remember that green is always opposite of blue and orange is always opposite of red. So if you move, so you can move the cross like this, and you can remember that green is always in front or in to the left of orange. So I can move like this because now it's to the left, and now red is always to the left of green, so I can move the cross right here and then bring it down, and then I can just do a D2, and then this white blue edge is already solved, so now it's inside of its place. I'm going to do an example of how I would do this cross. So red's already solved. I would probably have this green, how I'm already holding it. Green is here, blue's here. So I could do a sledgehammer. And then this, I can just move the cross and then do an L and then move it back, or I can try to do a sledgehammer into the back, but I would probably do a D2 and then do a sledgehammer and then move back. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment if I should do an F2L video, because I really want to try doing more tutorials on CFOP, and comment if you have any questions about how to do cross, or if you had problems with the beginner method tutorial video I made, and you go watch that if you don't know how to solve Rubik's Cube. You can start CFOP without learning the beginner's method, but it would be easier if you learn the beginner's method first, and it would help if you learned how to do the beginner's method with other sides of the cube, like with yellow, blue, or orange. And so, thanks for watching.